Welcome to The Bottom Line Up Front, the podcast that cuts through the noise to deliver distilled insights from today's most important technical webinars, presentations, and demonstrations. Designed for federal and military IT leaders, each episode breaks down complex technologies into mission-ready takeaways so you get the key points fast. Whether it's cybersecurity, cloud architecture, or emerging defense technologies, we highlight what matters most and how trusted integrators like ATP Gov can help implement and operationalize these solutions across your agency or command. No fluff, no filler, just the bottom line up front. If you work in civilian, federal, or DoD spaces, you know the tension. People need to work from anywhere. Be it home, TDY, the fight line, and even the soccer sidelines. But our adversaries target endpoints and browsers relentlessly. We've also got surge workforces, contractor access, and the never-ending mandate to accelerate zero trust while cutting cost. Today's Better Together story shows how Hypori and Menlo Security closed two big gaps at once. No government data on the device, and no active web code on the endpoint. So let's talk about Hypori in plain English. Think of Hypori as a virtual mobile workspace that lives in the cloud. Your quote-unquote work phone runs in AWS GovCloud, and you can just see the encrypted pixels on your personal device. Your touches go up, the pixels come back. No agency data, apps, or certs live on your physical phone. Hypori's design goals came from special operations and contested environments. They assume that the device and the network are compromised and still deliver secure access back to mission apps. If you lose the phone, something gets damaged, the device gets hijacked, the data was never there. That's why the client uses a mutually authenticated MTLS tunnel, and credentials like CAC and derived credentials reside in the virtual workspace and not on the edge device. With Hypori, you can enroll in minutes. Multi-factor authentication and biometrics are used to enter your workspace, and you can run a curated list of apps. Things like Teams, Outlook, and CAC-enabled sites, all inside of that virtual phone. Notifications can alert you when something needs attention, and admins can lock down copy and paste, screenshots, cameras, and more based on policy and classification level. Right now, the Army licenses Hypori in the tens of thousands with active growth, and the Air Force usage is also rising. SOCOM and other communities are engaged with Hypori, and Hypori continues to position BYOD as a cybersecurity control, not just a convenience, separating personal life from work data while respecting user privacy. As mentioned before, Hypori runs in AWS and has a FedRAMP High authorization for government authoring, supporting CMMC, as well as NIST 800-171, and is being positioned by customers to reduce IL5 GFE burden for unclassified mission use. When you do a total cost of ownership against legacy architectures, pricing and platform fees for solutions like Hypori scale down at a per-user level at volume. And when you jump up to DoD scale, they've cited their per-user over year pricing drop substantially as quantities increase. So what's Menlo Security all about? Now we're talking about the browser and email problem. Most attacks still land through a link, a site, or a file. Menlo Security uses remote browser isolation to open every risky site or file in a surrogate browser in Menlo's cloud, then streams a safe rendering down to the user. Your machine never runs the site's active code, so drive-by downloads, HTML smuggling, and many 0 days are neutralized by design. Menlo's platform was engineered for isolation first. That's why the DoD runs Menlo at multi-million user scale daily, with normal browsing, video, and audio performance, something that's been challenging for bolt-on RBI features at other competitors. Menlo pairs this with safe document viewing, which allows you to open and inspect files in the cloud, including password-protective archives. And it also includes DLP in the browser, so think about watermarking, redaction, and policy-based blocking on sensitive data leaving the page. Many admins might be thinking, how do you handle tricky sites or reCAPTCHA or two-factor authentication? Menlo uses a smart bypass. It pushes certs and proxy settings by GPO and MDM, and for forensic needs, you can record sessions to your own AWS S3 or Microsoft Azure storage. Menlo doesn't keep any of your data. Menlo operates in a FedRAMP moderate cloud environment, and for DoD, deployments are already running in DISA-hosted environments with many child tenants. Now, let's talk about why Hypori and Menlo is a better together story. Here's the synergy. Hypori protects your agency apps and data access by virtualizing the entire mobile workspace. no data on end user devices. While Menlo protects the internet you have to touch. So that means no active web code on endpoints. By combining them, together you cover the two attack surfaces that burn most programs, the device and the browser. That's a clean zero trust strategy you can believe in. Assume compromise on the edge and assume untrustworthy websites, yet still delivering the mission. You might be doubting this and thinking that the user experience must suffer in some way, but the reality is Hypori gives native-feeling mobile, CAC-derived cred flows, and curated app stores. Menlo, at the same time, keeps normal browsing, streaming, and file review feeling familiar. So the net effect, higher adoption, lower help desk, and reduced risk by architecture, not just by signatures. But let's also take a look at this from the acquisition, compliance, and cost angles. Hypori's government service is FedRAMP High, and that aligns to CMMC and NIST 800-171 use cases. Menlo's GovCloud is FedRAMP Moderate and widely deployed in DoD environments. Replacing a portion of GFE phones with Hypori's BYOD approach can cut unclassified device spend and support overhead, while Menlo's RBI can offset legacy secure web gateways and proxy backhauls while reducing incident response churn tied to web-borne malware. Both vendors express order of magnitude savings at DoD scale during implementation. And when it comes to acquisition, we act as your guide and integrator, and we can stack technologies like Hypori and Menlo together with your agency vehicles and advise on pilot to production glide paths. Discovery to success is measured in a typical 30 to 60-day pilot. What we would do is we would map user groups using your GFE or BYOD devices. We'd set up identity and CAC flows, as well as web categories and DLP requirements, integrating both of those into Hypori and the Menlo instantiations. We would stand up a Hypori workspace for a cross-section of your users and steer internet and email links through Menlo isolation while in the Hypori workspace. What we're interested in measuring is time to first access, phishing and malware neutralization. We're looking for data at rest endpoint events to be 0. We want to look at the help desk deltas and any bandwidth or cost relief while using the platform. And when we talk about scale, we want to expand in slices. We want to start with employees and contractors and partners and tune policies for the different classification levels. So what's the bottom line up front? Hypori keeps government data off devices entirely, even BYOD devices like the one you're listening to this episode on, while Menlo Security keeps web and email threats away from users by isolating sessions in the cloud. Together, they protect the apps you rely on and the internet you can't avoid. Hypori gives you the reassurance that there's no data on your devices, and your CAC and derived credentials live inside the virtual workspace. This is bring your own device that actually reduces risk. Menlo, at the same time, promotes the ability to have no web code on the Hypori endpoints. That means safe rendering, safe documents, and data loss prevention in the browser and at DoD scale. With Hypori and Menlo together, you can protect apps and the open internet, the entire workday. And yes, this does map to zero trust, it does reduce costs, and it scales at DoD enterprise size. And we can help you pilot, integrate, and measure success in 30 to 60 days. So if you're interested in trying out this solution, please email info@atpgov.com with the subject line BLUF Pilot, Hypori plus Menlo, and we'll bring Hypori and Menlo to the table, confirm success metrics, and start a low-friction pilot. Be sure to reach out to ATPGov today at www.atpgov.com or email info@atpgov.com or check us out on social media on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening, and be sure to subscribe to The Bottom Line up front wherever you get your podcasts, and stay tuned for more distilled insights from the front lines of tech and national security. So until next time, stay secure, stay mission ready.